Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. So now moving ahead, let's see the second project, that is Scorpio Data Analysis. So in this, a car company has released a new Scorpio in the market, and using the previous data about the sales of their Scorpio, they want to predict the category of people who might be interested in buying this. So using logistic regression, you need to find what factors made people more interested in buying the Scorpio. So for this, let's see a data set where I have user ID, I have gender as male and female, then we have the age, we have the estimated salary, and then we have the purchase column. So this is my discrete column, or you can say the categorical column. So here we just have the value, that is 0 and 1. And in this column, we need to predict whether a person can actually purchase a Scorpio or not. So based on these factors, we will be deciding whether a person can actually purchase Scorpio or not. So we know the salary of a person, we know the age, and using this, we can predict whether a person is going to buy a Scorpio or not. So let me just go to my Jupyter Notebook and implement logistic regression. So guys, I will not be going through all the details of data cleaning and analyzing the part. Start part, I'll just leave it to you. So just go ahead and practice as much as you can. So the second project is Scorpio prediction. So first of all, I have to import all the libraries. So I say import numpy as np, and similarly I'll do the rest of it. So now let me just bring the head of this data set. So this gives already seen that we have columns as user ID, we have gender, we have the age, we have the salary, and then we have to calculate whether a person can actually purchase a Scorpio or not. So now let's just simply go on this to the algorithm part. So we'll directly start off with the logistic regression of how you can train a model. So for doing all those things, we first need to define an independent variable and a dependent variable. So in this case, I want my x to start with an independent variable. I said dataset.iloc. So here I will specify all the rows, and so the column basically stand for that, and in these columns I want only 2 and 3 dot values. So here it should fetch me all the rows and only the second and third column, which is age and estimated salary. So these are the factors which will be used to predict the dependent variable, that is purchased. So here my dependent variable in purchase and independent variable is age and salary. So I'll say dataset.iloc, I'll have all the rows and just 4 columns. That is my purchase column dot values. So over here I have defined my independent variable and dependent variable. So here my independent variable is age and salary, and dependent variable is the column purchase. Now you must be wondering, what is this iloc function? So iloc function is basically an index of pandas data frame, and it is used for integer based indexing, or you can also say selection by index. Now let me just print these independent variables and dependent variables. So if I print the independent variable, I have aged as well as salary. Next, let me just print the dependent variable as well. So over here you can see I have just the values in 0 and 1. So 0 stand for did not purchase. Next, let me just divide my data set into a training and test subset. So I'll simply write in form sklearn.model selection, import train tests, split next. I just press shift and tab, and over here I will go to the examples and just copy the same line. So I'll just copy this, I'll move the points now. I want the text size to be 25, so I have divided the training and test it in 75 by 25 ratio. Now let's say I'll take the random set of 0. So random state basically ensures the same result, or you can say the same samples taken whenever you run the code. So let me just run this now. You can also scale your input values for better performing, and this can be done using a standard scaler. So let me do that as well. So I'll say from sklearn.preprocessing import standard scaler. Now, why do we scale it? If you see a data set, we are dealing with large numbers. Well, although we are using a very small data set, so whenever you are working in a prod environment, you will be working with large data set. So we'll be using thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. So scaling down will definitely affect the performance by a large extent. So here let me just show you how you can scale down these input values, and then the pre-processing contains all your methods and functionality which is required to transform your data. So now let us scale down for test and well as their training data set. So else first make an instance of it. So I'll say standard scalar, then I'll have xtrain, I'll say sc.fit underscore transform, I'll pass in my xtrain variable, and similarly I can do it for a test variable. So I'll pass the xtest. Now my next step is to import logistic regression. So I'll simply apply logistic regression by first importing it. So I'll say from sklearn the linear model and import logistic regression. I'll be using a classifier. So I say the classifier is equal to logistic regression. So here I'll just make an instance of it. So I'll say logistic regression and I just pass in the random state which is 0. Now I simply fit the model and I simply pass in the x train and y train. I have to predict the value. So I'll say y underscore pred is equal to the classifier dot predict function, and then I just pass the x test. So now we have created the model. We have to scale down our input values. Then we have applied logistic regression. We have predicted the values, and now we want to know the accuracy. So now the accuracy first, we need to import accuracy scores. So I'll say from sklearn.matrix import accuracy score, and using this function we can calculate the accuracy, or you can say manually do that by creating a confusion matrix. So I'll just pass y test and my y predicted. So here I get the accuracy is 89%. So we want to know the accuracy in percentage. So I just have to multiply it by 100, and if I run this, it gives me 89%. So I hope you guys are clear with whatever I have taught you today. So here I have taken my independent variable as age and salary. Then we have calculated how many people can purchase the Scorpio, and then we have calculated our model by checking the accuracy. So over here we get the accuracy is 89, which is not so great. So guys, this is for today. So I'll discuss what we have covered in training. First of all, we had a quick introduction to what regression is and where their regression is actually used. Then we have understood the types of regression and then got into the details of what and why of logistic regression, of compared linear was in logistic regression. If we have also seen the various use cases where you implemented logistic regression in real life, and then we have picked up two projects that are Titanic Data Analysis and Scorpio Prediction. So here we have seen how you can collect your data, analyze your data, then perform modeling on that data, that trains the data, test the data, and then finally have calculated the accuracy. So in your Scorpio prediction, you can actually analyze and clean your data, and you can do a lot of things. So you can just go ahead, pick up any data set and explore it as much as you can. So this is all about the logistic regression and their steps. So in the next session, we'll move towards our next topic. So thank you so much for watching.